But taxes are, they are an in very, very important part of life. They're a very, very important part while you're working, because the one thing that everybody asks me whenever they come in to have their taxes prepared is, what can I do to reduce my taxes? That's one of the things that people are always concerned about while they're working. And there's this, notion or myth or something out there. We've talked about this so many times, that once you're retired, you don't have to pay taxes, or there's a magical age out there which the government says, all right, you've paid enough, don't give us any more money. But those simply aren't the case. One of the things that Mike and I do is tax planning. Years ago, when Mike first started Prostatis, which was over 20 years ago, we just celebrated our 20th anniversary back in October. We had that huge party at the office. We had people from WCBM, a lot of the radio stations came by, a lot of our clients came by. But, he was doing taxes originally, and he kept seeing these mistakes, these things that were happening from his tax clients' financial advisors, that they were coming to him, and he was saying, well, if you just did this instead of that, if you zigged instead of zagged, this aspect, this problem really wouldn't have happened. And that's kind of how the financial advising aspect came to it. And that's why tax planning and tax preparation is such a huge part of what we do here at Prostatis, because, any financial advisor can talk about the stock market, can talk about risk and returns, but not every financial advisor, I would say 90% of financial advisors, financial planners out there, don't really talk about taxes. Because, if you're sitting down with your financial advisor and you ask them a tax question, what's their answer?
Yeah, you got to talk to your tax professional.
Talk to your tax professional. Go talk to my buddy Tom down the street. He's a CPA. He handles all the tax stuff for me. So now you then become that middleman between Tom, the CPA, and John, your financial advisor. Something's getting lost in translation. You're not asking the right exact questions, and that's where mistakes have been made. I've talked for, we've been on the air now for, I don't know, 15 years, something like that. Ever since I joined Mike, he's always had a radio show, but years and years ago, I did a dinner workshop in Crofton, Maryland, and I had people came in for dinner to talk about investments, talk about financial planning, talk about all that. But I had someone who I reached out to afterwards, and they said, yeah, Ryan, we'd love to come in for a second opinion. We have, we just sold our medical practice. We have a lot of money with two separate financial advisors. We just want to make sure that we're on the right track, because they've never really talked to us about taxes. And they were working with two separate financial advisors, one of them being, one of the most popular firms out there. They have their name on the side of a building. And the other one being with their bank, a really large national established bank. We sold our practice for about $5.5 million. And after taxes, we split the money between the two of them, because we didn't want to put all of our eggs in one basket. And we asked our first advisor, who should we use for taxes? And they recommended the CPA. They went to the CPA and they said, all right, we just sold our medical practice for $5.5 million. What should we do? What should we think about? What can we do to help reduce taxes? Well, at that point, they waited too long. There was nothing they could do to reduce their taxes because it had already happened. But that CPA just said, oh, okay, well, if you sold it for $5.5 million, based on the projections I've done, you're going to owe X amount of money to the IRS, and you're going to owe $350,000 to the state of Maryland. Just go ahead and make those estimated tax payments, and then you'll be done. So they did that. They went back. They told their advisors, here's the balance of the money. Just invest it. Everybody washed their hands. They said that year was done. They came to me that next about 2 years. I think it was 2 years later, a year and a half later. All I know is I couldn't fix the problem at that point. But they came to me, and one of the things that makes Mike and myself and our team here at Prostatis different is that I'm not just looking at the investments. I want to see the tax returns, because I want to look back and see, is there anything that was done in the past that we can fix to help save you money on taxes? But more importantly, what can we do to help save you money in taxes in the future? And if this is not something that your advisor really is talking to you about, and you want to get that second opinion, you want to find out if there's anything going on in my taxes, or